Assalamualaikum and welcome to Mr. Badr Hisham Ahmad Fadlullah. My name is Zuraihan Binti Basir and my group consists of Syazwina and Saidi, Nurin, Nabilah, Zainon and Fatin, Dayana, Hazran. Regarding to the assignment, we are required to conduct a research on the framework of Takaful industry in Malaysia, including the milestone of the industry, differences in legislation of Takaful Act 1984 and IFSA 2013 for Takaful industry. Did you know that the Takaful industry development in Malaysia in the early 1980s in response to the Muslim public desire for a Shariah-compliant alternative to traditional insurance, as well as to supplement the operation of the Islamic Bank, which had been founded in 1983. For over 30 years, the Takaful company has been one of the leading Takaful operators in Malaysia and has been providing financial strength and risk management expertise that meets the need of the customer at the 24 service centers. The organization has grown to meet the needs of customers by working closely with them, and their continuous profitable growth over the years has enabled their company to deliver high returns to the value of shareholders. Now, Syazwina will start the history of development Takaful industry in Malaysia.
First and foremost, I'm going to show the milestone of Takaful Malaysia. As you can see, this is the latest milestone that we got from the Takaful website. Proudly, Takaful Malaysia has received numerous awards and has won multiple competitions both locally and internationally. Among the earliest victories achieved by Takaful were in 2010 and 2011, where Takaful Malaysia won the prestigious Brand Laureate Award for the Best Brand in Financial Services Takaful Insurance for the second year in a row. The following year, Takaful Malaysia received various awards in Abu Dhabi, London and Jakarta. And the latest award won by Takaful Malaysia is in 2020, where Takaful Malaysia was awarded the highest returns to shareholders and the highest return on equity over 3 years awards at the H Billion Ringgit Club 2020. Next, governance of Takaful was established in the 7th meeting held on 21st December 2005 after received the approval from Islamic Financial Services Board. This establishment is due to several different types of contracts and business models adopted by Takaful undertakings around the world. The Joint Working Group thought it was appropriate for the IFSB to develop the first standard for the Takaful industry in the area of governance. As you can see, these are the acts that related to governance of Takaful and Shariah governance of Takaful. Done with milestone, now my friends and I will present about the history development of Takaful industry in Malaysia. As you can see, the development of the Malaysian Takaful industry is divided into 4 phases, namely Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 and Phase 4. So let's move to the first phase. The history of the Takaful industry in Malaysia began on 25 October 1982 when a special task force was formed to study the possibility of establishing Islamic insurance companies in Malaysia. The committee concluded that foremost, such companies must operate within Shariah laws. Next, in 1984, as an outcome of the committee's recommendations, Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Sendirian Berhad was established and incorporated as a private limited company by the Companies Act 1965. However, given that concepts of Takaful cannot be applied to offer and operate Takaful products in the Insurance Act 1963, a new act, the Takaful Act 1984, was created to enable the establishment of this Takaful company as well as the introduction of Takaful products. And then, Takaful Malaysia commenced operation on 22 July 1985, although it was established in November 1984. So, the primary focus during this period was the establishment of the basic infrastructure for the industry. This act, which is still in use, is enacted to govern the conduct of Takaful businesses and requires the registration of Takaful operators. It also provides for the establishment of Shariah committees to ensure that the business operations of a Takaful operator comply with Shariah principles at all times. I'm done with the first phase, so the next phase will continue with Nurin Nabilah.
Now turning to Phase 2, which is from 1993 to 2000. First, in October 1993, Malaysia National Insurance Takaful Berhad was established. The concept and objective of this company's creation was identical to Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad, which was to provide insurance coverage that meets the needs of Muslims in Malaysia and complies with the requirement and guidelines of Islam. Okay, next, in October 1995, Asian Takaful Group was formed with the objective of enhancing mutual cooperation among Takaful and Takaful operators. Other than that, Asian Takaful Group has undertaken various capacity building initiatives to enhance the role and importance of Takaful and Takaful as component of the entire Islamic finance ecosystem. Next, in May 1997, Bank Negara Malaysia appoints the member of the National Shariah Advisory Council for Islamic Banking and Takaful. Besides, the Shariah Advisory Council of the Bank Negara Malaysia also been given the authority for the ascertainment of Islamic law for the purposes of Islamic banking, takaful and any other business is based on Shariah principles and regulated by Bank Negara Malaysia. Next, in 1997, also the year when the Asia Rate Takaful International established. This has facilitated setting rate takaful among takaful operators in Malaysia and in region, namely Brunei, Indonesia and Singapore. Then, in November 1998, MNI, which is Malaysian National Insurance, was renamed as the Takaful Nasional Sdn Bhd with the management and administration of the new. And lastly, in 2000, Takaful Malaysia and Takaful Nasional, which is now known as Etika Takaful, jointly developed a code of ethics for the industry. This code of ethics is the basic guideline for Takaful agent to observe in their practice. Okay, now I will pass to Fatin Dayana to continue explaining the phase 3.
Hi, I'm Fatin. So I will move to the phase 3. So this phase is it for 10 years, from 2001 to 2010. It's begin with the introductions of Financial Sector Master Plan (FSMP) in 2001 by Bank Negara Malaysia, which the objective is to focus on improving the capacity of takaful operator and the capability of domestic financial institution in order to improve the legal, Shariah and regulatory framework, as well as developing the framework on consumer education and protections. It's actually to achieve a Malaysia's goals of becoming the international centers of Islamic finance. Next, the Malaysian Takaful Association (MTA), which is an association for takaful operator, was established in November 2002 to further support the growth of takaful industry. The MTA designed to improve the industry's self-regulations by promoting a higher level of corporations market practice, and Bank Negara Malaysia has approved 4 new takaful license such as HSBC Insurance and MAA Holding Berhad. So as we can see here, almost every year in phase 3, there are establishments that related to takaful and the strategy that have been made by government to support the growth of Islamic financial sector. And the last phase will be continued by Sharifah Inas.
Now let me move on to the fourth phase. Basically, in phase 4, takaful industry encouraged takaful brokers to participate in expanding the range of takaful product and also outreach by extending MIFC incentive to such takaful brokerage business activity, as well as promoting the use of takaful as a risk management tool in Islamic financial transaction such as Islamic trade finance and sukuk. 2011, the blueprint for the financial sector was developed by BNM, the strategic plan that set out the financial system future direction as Malaysia moves closer to being a high-income economy in the coming 10 years. There are 9 focus areas under the blueprint to support the development, which are developing deep and dynamic financial markets, being made to increase liquidity, debt, and participation in Malaysian currency, foreign exchange, and government securities market. Financial inclusion for greater shared prosperity. The mission is to provide quality, accessible, and necessary financial service to all members of society, including those who are undeserved. Next, AIA FFG Takaful, in Public Takaful Ehsan and Amulet Takaful began operation. In 2012, the Takaful operational framework set out the criteria that control the cost for services of Takaful funds and shareholder funds management. Takaful operators framework seeks to improve the operational performance of the takaful sector and the long-term profitability of takaful funds, protecting the right of takaful participants, and the objective of Shariah government framework is to ensure that all of the institution operation and business practice are Shariah compliant. In 2013, established the new Islamic Financial Service Act 2013. The aim of this act is to regulate and control Islamic financial institutions, payment system and other relevant bodies, as well as to control the Islamic money market and Islamic foreign exchange market in order to promote financial stability and Shariah law. While in 2014, implementation risk-based capital (RBC) to Takaful as an introduction to more stringent capital requirement. RBCT is to ensure Takaful operators maintain a capital adequacy level to commensurate with the risk profile and operate as financial buffer for the Takaful exposure. The objective of RBCT are to ensure Takaful operators meet all the obligations under Takaful contract, offer flexibility to operate as long as the level of capital is appropriate, and promotes overall financial system. The main purpose of the RBCT development is to ensure that the operation of Takaful are in line with the objective of Shariah, namely the fiduciary duties of the Takaful operator towards the participant. For 2015 Internal Capital Adequacy Assessment Process (ICAAP) for Takaful operators is intended to ensure: first, to maintain adequate capital that take into account all major risks including under stress condition. Number 2, to implement sound capital and risk management practice that consider its business strategy and risk appetite. And lastly, to sustain adequate participant risk fund, which means PRF, to meet potential claims. Okay, in the next section, Fatin, Dayana and Syazwina will show you the differences between Takaful Act 1984 and IFSA 2013.
Here's an example of Takaful book and Islamic Financial Services Act book. As a result, it contains all the law and sections under this act. Let's take a look at the differences between these two acts. First, the Takaful Act schemes focus on the brotherhoods, solidarity, and mutual assistance, whereas the IFSA schemes primarily focus on the mutual assistance. Actually, these two acts are identical, and saying as the Takaful Act is the oldest and IFSA is the newest. Next, the benefits from the Takaful Act is only participants can claim the Takaful benefit if they are still alive. Compared with the IFSA, the guardians or family member can claim the benefits on behalf of the participants, whether they are still alive or dead. And for the businesses, IFSA required the Takaful operator to run both the general and family Takaful at the separate company with different licenses, while for the Takaful Act, they are required to operate both Takaful at the same company. And for the next differences will be continued by Syazwina.
Now, I will continue to the next difference, which is minimum capital requirement. So previously, a minimum capital requirement of 100 million was required to establish a Takaful business. IFSA 2013 no longer legitimately specifies the minimum capital requirement for Takaful operators. Instead, IFSA 2013 states that the minimum capital requirement will be determined by the regulator. Although the actual impact of this subtle change is unknown at this time, this principle-based regulation allows the regulators to issue capital requirements based on the nature and complexity of the business.
Another difference is a proper claimant. The Takaful Act of 1984 only states that payment of Takaful benefits might be allowed to pay to a proper claimant. Takaful Act 1984 defines a proper claimant as a person who claims to be entitled to Takaful benefits as the executor of the deceased. However, the new definition of a proper claimant under the IFSA 2013 includes a parental guardian of an incompetent nominee or an assignee or who claims to be otherwise entitled to the Takaful benefits under the relevant law. The last difference is the payment of Takaful. The Takaful Act 1984 is silent on the specifics of Takaful benefit payment, and different Takaful operators have different practices for regulating the treatment of Takaful benefits. Takaful operators are not required to display the options available to customers based on the previous practice. Thus, by default, some Takaful operators pay Takaful benefits directly to the nominee who acts as executor. However, IFSA 2013 requires Takaful operators to prominently display the options of payment of Takaful benefits to Takaful participants in the nomination form. The participants don't need to choose the preferred option. This is clear from the fact that IFSA 2013 allows for the payment of Takaful benefits even when no nomination is made.
To summarize, we believe that the Takaful industry in Malaysia will continue to expand from strength to strength based on the increase in the number of Takaful and Re-Takaful companies, development in industry models, growth in the size of Takaful fund, and the number of Takaful policy year by year. That's all from us. Thank you.